How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Tirade TV. It's your man B Lloyd here. Hey, man. First of all, you know how I do it. Um, if you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, comment. All comments are welcome as long as they're tasteful and respectful. A lot of news. Some stories are eye raising, eyebrow raising, and some stories you just shake your head at, right? Let's get into it. There's been a lot of talk about doing away with the Second Amendment and making sure that there are no firearms on the streets, and not even on the streets, just in the hands of law abiding civilians, right? Or law abiding citizens. But what happened in Canada makes you think that, and it just adds to the fact that no matter what weapon someone uses, if they want to take your life or harm you, they will find a way to do it. We know this. It's not the actual weapon that's dangerous, it's the person holding the weapon or operating the weapon, especially if their intent is to not defend their family, not defend their property, not defend the country, but their their main goal is to harm others. So this article yesterday I saw here goes on to say, and I believe this is CNN. It says manhunt underway for two suspects in connection with a mass stabbing that left at least 10 dead in Saskatchewan, right? This is a wow. So we've gone from mass shootings to mass stabbings now. Don't know, man. Don't know. Goes on to say Canadian authorities are searching for two men in connection with a mass stabbing Sunday that left at least 10 dead and 15 injured across multiple crime scenes in Saskatchewan in central Canada. Now, these were the numbers at the time. I don't know if these are still the numbers. I don't know if they're, like I say, they're at least 10 dead, which means that possibly it could be more, or maybe some of the 15 that were injured, it's possible they may be um, severe. But first of all, prayers out to them and their families. We definitely don't like to see any lives taken. But this just goes to show that if people want to do harm, they're gonna find a way to do it. It is what it is on that. The authorities have identified the two suspects as Damian Sanderson and Miles Sanderson and are advising the public to take appropriate precautions. And I would like to throw the word, these are the, I'm going to just say alleged suspects, and advising the public to take appropriate precautions. The pair are believed to be armed and dangerous and traveling in a black Nissan Rogue with a Saskatchewan license plate 119 MPI. The Canadian, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba are all jointly investigating the stabbings. Quote, we are dedicating a maximum number of resources to this investigation, unquote, said Assistant Commissioner Rhonda Blackmore with the RCMP Saskatchewan in a statement. Quote, let me be clear, we are still looking for the two suspects. We are asking residents across Saskatchewan and our neighboring provinces to be vigilant. At this stage in our investigation, we believe some of the victims have been targeted by the suspects and others have been attacked randomly, unquote, Blackmore said. So basically, they're targeting some and others are attacked randomly. So we'll definitely be interesting to know the ones that are being targeted. Why are they being targeted? That would be a maybe it goes on to send the article, but um, would definitely be interesting, I guess. I mean, it's stupid what they're doing and saying, but it would be interesting to know why are they targeting some. Authorities describe Damian Sanderson as a 31-year-old man who is 5 feet 7 inches tall, 155 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. Miles Sanderson is described as a 30-year-old man who is 6 feet 1 inch tall and 240 pounds with brown hair, brown eyes. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted Sunday afternoon, the stabbings are horrific and heartbreaking, quote unquote. Horrific and heartbreaking. Y'all better watch those knives up there. Trudeau, you know how he does. He's coming to take your knives. You know, he may be on the phone with Beto O'Rourke right now trying to figure out how they can take knives from people. I'm telling you, he's coming after those knives. Quote, as this is an unfolding situation, I encourage everyone in the area to listen to the advice of law enforcement to take shelter and follow the proper precautions, unquote. Trudeau wrote in a statement later um, Sunday. Quote, the government of Canada has been in direct communication with the James Smith Cree Nation community leadership, and we are ready to assist in any way we can. Those responsible for today's abhorrent attacks must be fully brought to justice, unquote. Quote to James Smith Cree Nation and the people of Saskatchewan, you're, you are in our thoughts. We're here to support you during this difficult time, unquote, Trudeau said. Yeah, all jokes aside, I would say don't be surprised if Trudeau bans knives now. You know how he feels about firearms, regardless if it's a rifle or if it's a handgun. And this, honestly, any common sense, any common sense person would think, any common sense person would think, hey, you know what? We're so focused on just banning firearms that we didn't realize that there are certain people who just love to take lives. There are certain people who are just insane, just crazy, right? Now, it's possible you may have citizens who don't have firearms, don't have a legal way to protect themselves, and they're just walking around getting stabbed. Now, trust me, criminals, they're stupid, most of them, but they're also smart. These guys are probably going around knowing that the majority of the people in Canada do not have firearms. So they don't have to worry about being shot, which makes it a lot easier for them to go around stabbing people. It's a lot easier to go around and stab people when you know there's like a 99% chance they don't have a firearm on them. Think about that. But that's just my opinion on that. Just my opinion. Um, it goes on to say here that Blackmore said the first stabbing report came at 5:40 a.m. local time, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, on the James Smith Cree Nation, and within minutes they received multiple calls reporting additional stabbings. So all of this took place pretty fast. They're just going around shanking people, basically. I mean, they're treating this like this was, like this was like they're behind bars, like they're in the pen or something, just shanking people. Over the next 6 hours, Saskatchewan RCMP sent out multiple alerts and updates on the stabbings, including issuing a dangerous persons alert for Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. Authorities said there are 13 crime scenes where victims were found across Saskatchewan in the communities of James Smith Cree Nation and Weldon. Several victims were injured, at least 15 of whom were taken to various hospitals, Blackmore said, adding that there may be additional injured victims who took themselves to hospitals. See, additional, so it's possible the numbers could go up. Quote, it is certainly a very significant event, if not the largest we've seen in the last number of years, unquote. Blackmore said. Leaders of James Smith Cree Nation declared a state of emergency in response to the, quote, numerous murders and assault on members of James Smith Cree Nation, unquote, according to the statement that was posted on the Facebook page of the Federation of Sovereign Indian Nations, which represents 74 First Nations in the province. Um, yeah. So are these knives are they actually considered assault weapons now? Because you put the term assault weapons or assault rifles on rifles that people use to, you know, I would guess say crazy people use to go and take someone's lives, not the people who are legal abiding citizens, law abiding citizens that are using them just to protect their family and to protect their rights. Not those people. You know, you got some crazies running around out here, and you want to throw the term assault rifle, right? So my question is, are these type of knives, whatever type of knives they have, whatever shanks they have, are these going to be considered assault knives now? Just a question. Two emergency operation centers have been set up to help provide health support to the communities. The statement read, 3 helicopters from STARS ambulance service or air ambulance were dispatched to James Smith Cree Nation during the mass stabbing incident. STARS spokesperson Mark Auden told CNN 2 of the helicopters were from Saskatoon and one was from Regina. He said the first crew from Saskatoon did an initial triage of victims on the scene, and the second aircraft brought in a physician to help the scene to help triage and lead the emergency response, Auden said. In a message to the two suspects, Blackmore said, quote, if Damien and Miles are listening or receive this information, I would ask that they turn themselves into the police immediately, unquote. Wow. This is another mass, you want to say killing, want to say lives being taken. It's a shame. It's sad. It really is. But once again, I think the elephant in the room here is not necessarily, the stabbing themselves, but what if these people would have had a better means to defend themselves? Because it seems pretty easy, to be honest with you, for someone to get a knife and go around and just start stabbing people, especially when they know those people don't have firearms. What do you all think about this? Let me know in the comments. Wow, unbelievable. Also, speaking of firearms, North Carolina, there's a little story going on out there. I don't know if anyone's reporting on this, but I found it kind of interesting. Youth Football Cheerleading League, North Carolina takes flack for offering rifle in raffle. Hmm. Let's see what this one's about. Organizers of the raffle said it gives them the ability to sponsor children in our community who cannot afford registration fees. Okay, sounds good so far. I mean, basically that it gives the ability to sponsor children in our community who cannot afford registration fees. And yet there are kids or families that can't afford registration fees. So okay, let's take a look and see. A nonprofit organization in North Carolina raising money for youth athletes and cheerleaders stoked backlash after offering a rifle as a prize in a fundraising raffle. The raffle held by East Henderson Youth Football and Cheerleading League, EHYFCL, in East Flat Rock, North Carolina, received criticism from some locals for offering the winner an FN-15 patrol carbine, according to local ABC affiliate WLOS. Quote, we aren't offering an assault rifle. We are offering an FN 15 patrol carbine, unquote. A spokesperson for EHYFCL told Fox News Digital, quote, this is an Armalite 15 style rifle, not fully automatic, which by definition excludes it from being classified as an assault rifle. We are following all ATF guidelines. The item is being held at an FFL. The recipient must complete an ATF Form 4473 and pass an NICS background check before taking possession of it, unquote. So let's get this straight here. They're raffling off a rifle, what they say is in a FN-15 patrol carbine rifle, and they're quoted as saying this is an Armalite 15 style rifle, not fully automatic, and they're actually saying that they're following all the ATF guidelines. So I would say, me personally, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's not like it's being handled by any of the kids, the young athletes, because I'm pretty sure if it was, they would state it here. Um, they're following all the ATF guidelines, so they say. They must complete an ATF 4473, pass the NICS background check. I'm not for sure what the problem is here. It's just people have been so brainwashed that every time they hear rifle or AR-15 or Armalite or assault rifle, they automatically assume that people have the worst intentions. And whoever wins the raffle, they get the background check done. They fill out the 4473. If they don't pass it, guess what? I'm assuming they don't get the firearm. They don't get the rifle. I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm a little stupid to assume that, but I'm assuming that common sense would tell me they're not going to get the rifle. And I'm assuming if they don't pass the background check, then it'll maybe just go to the next person. They'll pull another name, I guess, until they find someone who can pass the background check. I mean, that's a common sense thing there. I don't see a problem with it. Their goal was to raise money. Well, I just don't understand the problem, because media has manipulated people's minds to think that every rifle is bad. Every firearm is bad. It's not the firearm that's bad. It's the people operating the firearm. Going at tying this into what's happening in Canada, what has happened in Canada, where people running around with knives. And I will say it again over and over and over again. If someone wants to harm you, or if someone wants to harm anyone, they want to take someone else's lives, and they're really crazy or deranged enough to do it, they will find a way to do it. Whether it's firearm, knives, whether it's using a vehicle, because there is a such thing as vehicular homicide, right? Doesn't matter. They can do it hand to hand. Doesn't matter. But everyone's so brainwashed, they're thinking that every time, they're just brainwashed. It's really hard to explain it any more than that. And the weird part about it is a lot of these people who are out here, talk they're anti Second Amendment. I would love to see how many of these people actually have a firearm in their household. I'm almost guaranteeing you probably 75% of them have a firearm, if not more, have a firearm in their household. But yet, just like leadership, you know, they're anti-Second Amendment, but yet they have all the security in the world. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So they want to have all the security and have the people, the law-abiding citizens, not have security, not be able to defend themselves. So if someone busts down their door and it's like 7 people, what they want you to use a slingshot? Or is that an assault weapon? A slingshot? Just asking. Anyways, didn't mean to keep you all on here this long, but what do you all think about these two stories here? I mean, it goes a long way to show that we as people, our leadership is not doing what they should be doing. I believe that if Trudeau wouldn't be banning firearms up there and just make sure they go through a legal background check and everything to make sure that the residents have them, there's a good chance these stabbings may have not happened. Um, and even in North Carolina with the fundraising for the young athletes, I just don't see a problem with it. It would be I could see it if they're like, okay, if it was going to a kid or a student, like, oh, you raise money, okay, well, we're just gonna give you this as a gift. Not the case. According to this article, everything they're doing is legal. They're following the process. But the rest of it here says some critics took issue with the prize choice, believing it is inappropriate for a children's league. Football players in the East Henderson League are 5 to 13 years old, and members on the cheer team are ages 4 to 13, according to the organization. I see what they're saying, but the prize, the firearm, is not going to the 5 to 13 year olds. It's not going to the 4 to 13 year old cheer team cheerleaders. It's not going to them. Quote, I was honestly shocked when I received the message that the children were going to be selling an assault rifle because of what's going on at schools around the country, unquote. An anonymous concerned parent told WLOS. Another local parent who wished to remain anonymous said, quote, I thought it was in very bad taste for them to choose a weapon that is being used against children, unquote. First of all, you look at that as a weapon that's being used against children, but these same weapons are being used to protect children also. So you have to look at the story from both sides. Yeah, we see mass shootings, and that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And it's, I'm sorry for the people who lost, lives, and who have kids that they lost. That is unfortunate, devastating. But these same firearms are also being used to save lives, but we don't report on those stories. These same firearms are also being used to protect our country, protect our citizens, but we've forgotten about that, right? I think it goes a long ways into to let kids know that right now they have the right to protect themselves. Their families do, not them, but their families do. Their parents. They should know that when they become an adult, they will have the right to protect themselves. And honestly, I think kids with supervision of someone who's trained, I think they should know about firearms. Let them know the dangers of them. Let them know when they can and can't use them. Let them know the laws surrounding, guns and firearms. They should be well educated on all of that. I think that would lessen the chance of some of these kids, just going somewhere, picking up a firearm and just doing whatever with it. If they know the dangers of it, they know how to properly operate it. If they know the fact that they can't touch it unless a trained adult is there with them. I think that helps. Maybe that's just my opinion. Um, I don't know. It goes on to say the group also took flack from users on Facebook who said the raffle was everything from quote unquote sad and quote unquote bad to quote unquote disgusting and quote unquote deplorable. These are like political terms, especially deplorable. I've heard that in politics more lately. That word used more so over the past 2 to 3 years than almost any other word. Deplorable. Like some politicians around the area are really probably. You would think that a politician um, actually wrote this article. To be honest with you, leaders of EHYFCL also replied to the criticism in a Facebook post Thursday, writing, quote, in response to complaints made both publicly and anonymously regarding our raffle, unquote, explaining that they are taking applications for an official fundraiser. The group wrote, quote, if you have a sure way to raise enough money quickly to get us through the rest of the season and still have enough to start up next season, we need you to use that energy in a positive way, unquote. Honestly, this is just me, my opinion. I think it's pretty smart because I do believe firearms, obviously they attract attention, but those who are looking to purchase or win a firearm, pretty sure they're going to get a lot of raffle tickets in. And seems as though that, according to this, they're looking to raise money pretty fast. I mean, what else can you get? A car, maybe, but that'd be pretty expensive to get a car. So I think the next best thing may be a firearm if you want to raffle quickly and get the money, get the funds quickly. I think it's actually a good idea because what do we want to do? Sell pies, sell candy. I've had kids that sell candy. That takes forever. You be done sold a whole box of candy and still don't have nothing. It's crazy. But I don't know. What do you all think of this? Do you think they're wrong for raffling off the rifle? And if so, hey, that's your opinion. I'm not going to I'm not going to come down on anyone who has their own opinion. But me personally, just long as the firearm does not end up in the hands of the actual kids that are selling tickets or that are participating in athletics, just as long as it does not end up in their hands, I'm fine with it. Just as long as the person that wins the raffle passes a background check and they can legally purchase a firearm, I'm fine with it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe. And always remember, we need to be a praying country, a praying people. We should be calling out to God, calling out, uh, for his help and guidance at this point. That's what we need to do right now. That's where we need to be as a country. So until next time, see you.